All right, coming up 18 days since McCarthy's ousting, and the search is, well, it's still on for a House Speaker. Congressman Byron Donalds is throwing his name in the hat. He wants to be Speaker. He's going to give us his case for the gavel right here next.
As war rages in the Middle East, Congress is entering its 18th day without a speaker, as several candidates, including our next guest, are throwing their hats in the ring ahead of a ballot vote on Tuesday. GOP Congressman Byron Donalds joins us next. Congressman, thanks for joining us this morning. So what is your pitch to the GOP conference? What are your priorities?
My pitch is very simple. First, we got to get back to work immediately. We have to get these appropriation bills done. We must secure our border. If we're going to continue government funding, the border must be secured, and the White House has to realize that and take us seriously. Number two, we have a true ability to expand our majorities past this Congress. We can do that with strong, direct leadership where the White House knows where we stand. The American people see the strategies and the work that the Republican majority is trying to get done. I totally believe that. And number three, we can have unity in our conference. It's going to start with a fresh voice in leadership, working with all of our colleagues to accomplish the mission that our voters sent here to do.
You know, Byron, I'm concerned. You talk about the border. We just did a story on it. It's frightening, the number of known terrorists. We went from 0 known terrorists captured under Donald Trump to now record numbers. We're in over 160. That doesn't count the 50,000 Chinese who have come across the border just in the last year. This is really scary. And we have this bill coming up, that Biden has put forward where, he has money dedicated to the border, but I feel like that's just for enforcement. What can Congress do to make sure, it's for processing versus enforcement. What can Congress do to make sure it's used to protect our border and enforce security there versus just using it to process more people?
Well, let me be very clear. We don't have a money problem with respect to the southern border. We have a policy problem. The policies were put in place by Joe Biden when he became president of the United States. Those policies have to be reversed. House Republicans have supported the strongest border security package that has ever passed the House of Representatives in H.R. 2. The elements of H.R. 2, frankly, all of it should be implemented immediately by the White House. They can do this tomorrow. So if the White House is going to come and say they want more money, then we're going to say, no, you need to change your policies, because the American people want to be supportive around the globe. We are going to be supportive of Israel, but we must secure our border. It must occur, and it needs to happen immediately.
What's your position on more money for Ukraine?
My position is that we have to change a number of things. Number one, we need an inspector general over there actually accounting for those dollars. Number two, the White House needs to actually have a strategy for us. And what's the purpose and what's the end goal of all of this? All of that has not been clear. And here's the biggest one, Rachel. This money has to be paid for. The White House won $60 billion. Meanwhile, one of the key elements of their plan with respect to the Green New Deal, estimates are it's going to cost the American people $1 to $2 trillion. We have to pay for this money. We can't just send it out without any ability to take care of the purse strings of the American people. And we need to make sure that's done.
So are you suggesting the money go out to Ukraine, but that we maybe take it away from what was allocated for the Green New Deal? Or are you saying Ukraine has enough money?
What I'm saying is two things. Number one, we have to evaluate what Ukraine already has. But number two, if the White House is going to say their primary mission now is funding Ukraine, and they need to defund one of their other priorities. We are already $33 trillion in debt. We're running a $2 trillion deficit this year. We cannot continue this because the fiscal health of our nation will be in jeopardy.
Okay, I have a couple questions. So really quick one on this. If you become Speaker, will you release all of the January 6th footage?
I will, absolutely.
Okay, great. Next question. We are obviously, as you know, and this is probably the most dangerous time in our lifetime. We're on the brink of World War III. We want to support Israel to, protect themselves and defend themselves. But how do we, and how does Congress, what do you do to make sure that America doesn't get drawn into yet another conflict?
Well, this is going to be the toughest thing. We have to be supportive of Israel. They are our ally. They were attacked, and they must obliterate Hamas. I am fully supportive of that, as are my colleagues on Capitol Hill. But with respect to being pulled into World War III, something none of us want, This is going to take leadership from Joe Biden. Leadership, by the way, he's not shown to any point at this time. So it starts also with going back to the Iranian sanctions that were under President Trump and having this White House reverse course on some of their desires with Iran, trying to negotiate through the back door. That will be a big step forward to avoiding this global conflict.
So,
number two, there has to be a strategic vision and goal for what's happening in Ukraine. If you can get those two things accomplished, that'll take us to a much safer place around the globe.
I think most of our viewers would agree that we need new leadership. What has this fight among the Republicans in Congress done to potentially damage the presidential election for Republicans?
Well, look, I don't think that, once we get past this, and I think we are going to get past this pretty quickly, and I think we're going to get back to business. We're going to continue to go back into this political discussion, this fight with the White House about what the true priorities of America are. So I don't think it's going to damage the presidential election. And let's be very clear, Joe Biden's presidency has not been good for the American people. They know that in spite of the impasse in House leadership. I think we're going to get back to work. I think that we're going to demonstrate what conservative leadership is in the House of Representatives, and we're going to be just fine in 2024.
All right. Well, I know a lot of people are hoping you guys get it done on Tuesday. Good luck to you. Really enjoyed having you today.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.